Hey, everybody. It is a Sunday here in Boston, and it is a very special Sunday because it is my privilege to welcome you to the 200th episode of the Get Your Geek On podcast. That's right, people. 200, 6 years, 200 episodes. And we're here, as always. I'm your host, Chuck E. Watts.
I'm Robert Dokes.
I'm D.
And D is also celebrating his 50th episode here on the show. So I want to thank you guys for joining us today. We got some chock full of news week. We got some great trailer drops. We're going to be doing a little bit of a retrospective on our time here at Get Your Geek On and see what we can do to get you the news of the week. Starting where we always do with trailer talk. We got a couple big trailer drops this week, but the first one and the one that everybody was hyped for was Kenobi, the Obi-Wan solo series. Drops its first trailer. Robert, I want to start with you. Your overall thoughts, impacts on the trailer, what you were excited to see, what you want to see more of.
I don't know, man. We talked about this. I think we talked about this the last time. Maybe I talked about it with somebody else. Just a good redemption, a soft reset for Star Wars, just to kind of, because everybody had The Last Jedi. Get that palate cleanser out of their mouth.
PTSD memories come up when you say Last Jedi.
It's like for me, it was a movie. I don't have a terribly adverse reaction as most people did
to them undoing all of Star Wars with the stupid Force healing.
Yeah, cool. There was no need for any of that to happen. Just like, hey, Anakin, we can revive here too. Yeah, don't go nowhere. It's coming. It's coming.
Hey, Qui-Gon, you're going to be fine. Just give me 1 second. No problem.
Yeah.
Hey, Mace Windu, right?
Yeah. So it is, I didn't have as adverse reaction, but I do understand that it needs a reset. It needs freshness. We've seen what they can do with the Book of Boba Fett. We've seen what they can do with the Mandalorian. Now is season 3 on the way, and Christopher Lloyd taking up a role.
Yeah, man, Doc Brown is in the cast.
So, the whole point is what can they do going forward? So, outside of the fact that you get your saber porn, you get the seventh thing, you get the whole Inquisitors, which have been part of
with the spinning lightsabers,
with the Star Wars, who have been part of Star Wars canon for a while. But now in a live action setting, I'm all for it. So
it gave me very good vibes of The Mandalorian. Like, that's what I took from it, like that same type of tone. But the idea that they actually got Anakin back to play Darth Vader as well just has me so hyped, because I feel like Disney's kind of in a redemption arc right now with what they did with Spider-Man, with what they're doing with bringing Professor X and the mutants back and Doctor Strange. Now they're doing this. I feel like they're kind of letting people redeem themselves for past mistakes with characters. So Ewan has obviously done great as Kenobi, but people kind of hated Hayden Christensen's Anakin. So I feel like this is a chance for him to kind of step up and redeem himself in that role.
Possibly. For me, it's going to be, it's a matter of, like, I don't want it to be lazy. I just want it to be, I don't want to give myself expectation for it, because that way, to pull MJ, that way I'm never disappointed.
The other thing, and Danny, I want to get your opinion on this. So Ray Park, who plays Darth Maul, apparently shot a ton of scenes for the show, and they've all recently been cut because of his Me Too stuff.
That guy is, he's just trained. Like, he was doing all that off the cuff. And they're like, we should probably do that in the movies. You guys, you think? You like this? Yeah. More him. And I don't want to see Anakin. I want to see more like him as Darth Vader. And I want him to take that helmet on and off. Just watch him walk around, breathing heavy, being all jacked up, and then just going ham. Like, I'm enough of hearing how scary he was. Show me. I'm done hearing it. Either show me or he's a bum.
It needs to be like Rogue One times 10.
Yeah, that, and it needs to be a lot of that. They got it in the comic book. I want to see you just launch this dude from space and just drop him. Like, oh, how are we gonna get down there? No, I got this. And just drop him. Be like, oh, well, that was all 5 seconds, and that Rebel Outpost is done. Rebel
I'm
Outpost.
on board the Anakin murder train. So
Yes.
this dude housed a temple full of Padawans. All right, show me that level of
Yes.
insanity.
Yeah, I mean, we got to know, why was he so terrifying? Let those old movies make more sense by showing you now, like, oh, that's why they were afraid of Darth Vader. Okay, I get it now. I see what you're doing here.
So the other trailer that we got on the Marvel side of things, which was very underwhelming, as me and Robert saw it, was Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel released its first trailer, announcing that it will debut in June, and very underwhelming. It appears that they're redoing her origin.
Yeah, they have to.
Her powers don't even seem to resemble what her powers are in comics or video games at all. It looks more Captain Marvel-like. Which
because they couldn't do stretchy powers. You number one, you have that coming with Mr. Fantastic. Number two, it's very difficult to do. And so they kind of had to, and you're going to see this a lot. You're going to have Chavez is coming. She's going to be completely different in the comics.
Yeah,
these
so
are characters.
They announced today that that she can travel through the multiverse at will.
Yeah, that was her power to begin.
Yeah, that was her power. No, but it's a character, just like the way you saw the Hawkeye. I mean, they're going to change all these characters that were nobody really liked just because of the way they acted and the way they were. So they're going to make them more palatable for a larger swath of the viewing public. So they're going to make them kind of earn things, go through little trials, and it's not going to be like, this is my class, so I'm the best. I'm the greatest. Like,
all right. We want to announce that a friend of the show on the DC side of things, Harvey Guillen, landed 2 DC roles this week. That's right. He has been cast in the live-action upcoming Blue Beetle, and he's also been cast as Nightwing in the animated Harley Quinn Season 3. Very exciting to see him moving up in the ranks. I think he's going to be a great Nightwing. I'm just excited for Harley Quinn Season 3. I feel like that cartoon has breathed new life into what a rated R cartoon could be. So I'm very excited about that. We did lose somebody while we were off. General Thunderbolt Ross, William Hurt, has passed away. Kind of really sad for me because he was supposed to be Red Hulk in the She-Hulk series. So I'm wondering if they were actually able to shoot any of his scenes with that. But pretty young too, only 71 years old. So any thoughts on his roles or anything specific that comes to mind when you think of him?
I mean, it is outside of the Marvel roles, you know, his you don't get, you don't get actors of his caliber like that anymore. And you have like, you think about Jeff Bridges, William Hurt, Robert Redford being in the movies. Those are iconic Hollywood actors that you don't get in movie. You know, if we complain about the way Marvel movies are, those are some of the people that make the Marvel movies better. And so, you know, when we first got Thunderbolt Ross and the Incredible Hulk, and you were talking about like 2008 with Edward Norton, you know, his level of caliber that he brought to the role was very great. And even just the fact that they remembered, that Marvel continuity remembered, you know, Disney didn't have to bring him back. They could have easily recast him, but they brought him back for Civil War, Avengers Endgame, not Endgame, Civil War, Infinity War, and they continued to use him, I think, even in the series, What If? So it goes back to show, like, you know, this is what they understand the history, they know what they have, and that's a good thing. It is sad that we lost such a great actor because he was known for things like Kiss of the Spider-Woman, History of Violence, which, if anybody remembers the History of Violence, he got nominated for that.
Yeah, he did.
He got nominated, and he was only in the movie like 15 minutes.
How about Spider-Man No Way Home being snubbed by the Oscars this year?
Oh,
not even
they gave you Joker. No, they gave you Joker. They're not doing that again. Like that was pretty much here. Take this, shut
up. We did get some great news today that excites me. So there will be a Riddler Year One comic coming out from the Matt Reeves Batman universe, written by Paul Dano, who played the Riddler himself in the new Batman movie. Thoughts on that? Because obviously, Robert, we had varying opinions on the new take on the Riddler, but I would love to read more. And the fact that Dano wrote it, I'm very excited for it.
I'm excited for it. Because again, you will get a good story, hopefully, from that point of view, because they left the whole point is like he was going on social media. He had people online. That whole last scene was the fact that he was able to make people go out and get his own little henchmen with people.
Only 500 followers. He got enough crazy people out of 500 to suit up with guns.
Yeah, and to suit up and do what he did, and that's the whole point. So it's just like that is amazing. So if they can tell that story and how they got there, I think that'll be a good comic book series.
Chris Pine has announced that the first trailer for the Dungeons and Dragons movie will debut very shortly. I say that I've seen Dungeons and Dragons back when it had that weird hermaphrodite kid and Marlon Wayans, but not excited for that movie at all. Like, where's that on your radar?
I like Chris Pine.
No, I mean, like
he didn't say anything about the movie. He just goes, "I like Chris Pine." What a passive aggressive fucking compliment.
All right. So, like, here's the thing: based on what we're seeing with the whole idea of playing D&D, and when we see with Critical Role and Vox Machina that was on Vox Machina that was on Amazon Prime, and just the way that people like watching playing D&D. Whether or not they actually watching a D&D movie is going to be a completely different story.
I don't think they will. And as much as D&D has been brought back lately because of celebrities like Joe Manganiello and stuff, I just don't think it's something that translates to movies. To me, it's like the Lord of the Rings, how they thought in the 70s. You could never transfer this to film. And I just don't see it at all, man. It doesn't.
Think Dragon's Lair, the video game. How well did that do? You spent 50 cents to play for 2 seconds. That was fun.
Have you guys seen the preview? It's called verse jumping or something. It's this Asian movie where this woman.
Yes. She lives all her lives at once.
Yeah, she can jump into different versions of herself and then come back with their abilities.
Everything All at Once with Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah, Everything All at Once. That movie looks amazing.
That looks fun.
I think the whole point. What can I say about that one? That's not going to be an action movie as people think it is. It's just I think I
just like the concept.
Yeah, it's like she gets to live everything all picked from all her lives, and so it's like a better lead of Jet Li's The One.
The One. That's exactly what I was thinking.
That was fun.
The One. That's a great underrated movie.
The end of The One was the best. Who's gonna be king of the mountain?
I love that he got to go back to the reality too, where the dog gets hit and he gets to meet his wife again.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, Everything All at Once, probably the most hyped up trailer I've seen this week besides Obi-Wan. I'm beyond excited for it. Let's see here. In other news, we have The Walking Dead has announced a spinoff, The Isle of the Dead with Negan and Maggie. Thoughts on that? It makes no sense to me that those characters would be together after how brutally murdered Glenn was in front of her.
Maggie's gross. I thought, she talked herself off the show with a crazy contract demand. They said, okay,
and
you
then
go
she
sign
was
one.
on another show, and she was like, I'm going to be on this ABC show, and it's going to go 10 seasons, so you guys better pay me. That shit went 8 episodes.
And she was in half a movie. And then came back. What was that contract? Can I sign that now?
She was like, where was that Walking Dead contract again? I lost it.
We lost it, but we have a new one here. And as you see, the rate is substantially lower than it was before. So there's that. Welcome back.
I feel like The Walking Dead has kind of played itself out. I mean, I was never a big fan to begin with because there was too much that was illogical. Who's mowing the lawns? You ever noticed everybody's lawn in The Walking Dead is perfectly manicured? And just kill people. Like, just kill people you don't trust. Like, if you're not in my community, I kill you, because this is the post-apocalypse. There's no friendships. Like, plus, why would you want to live in? What is the benefit of surviving in that world? That you find some enchantment where you can hold yourself up while you slowly die from something else? Like, the
But yeah,
logic.
it's all about surviving. That's that's what it's all about. Humans will to survive. So we
I just
just
think it's
go
like,
down that dark hole.
I just hear Robert Downey Jr. from Tropic Thunder be like, "Come on, survive." And like, they all use guns, which they established in like season 1 was like, yeah, don't use guns because it just draws more of them.
Yeah, and how many bullets do you think there? I mean, come on. There are I mean, the southern states, yeah, but eventually, even those are going to be gone.
The one thing I like is they showed that Norman Reedus had, because Breaking Bad exists in the Walking Dead world. I don't know if you know that, because Norman Reedus had some of the blue meth from Breaking Bad in an episode. And I'm like, that's how you get through the zombie apocalypse right there, meth. Like, they'll just think you're one of them. You can, it's like Bill Murray. You can just walk right downtown. So, Robert, your opinion, I mean, I know you're a bit more of a Walking Dead fan. Thoughts on the Negan and Maggie spinoff?
Doesn't need to happen. I mean, AMC has brought, or yeah, they've beaten a dead horse, and they're squeezing every little bit of money out of the cash cow, but it's the time of this show is essentially over.
Right. I think it's been over for a few years, to be honest.
And so, like, they've jumped the shark. They've done all they needed to do. They've, but yet it's still the joke is, but yet it's still persisted. I don't know.
Its ratings are terrible. I mean, you're talking about a show that used to pull in 20 million viewers a week that's now struggling to get 2.
Yeah, isn't it when they like the Negan episode, like one? That's where it turned. Yeah, well, it turned from what was in the comics to them writing everything themselves, and everybody who watched the show because they liked the comics was pretty much out. And from that point on, they started.
I think when they killed Chandler Riggs, when they killed his character, the show died, because the writer of the comic, Robert Kirkman, had always said he was the one character that survives. Like, he's the one guy that's going to make it through all this.
Yeah, that kid was annoying, though, so I was cool with him dying.
I get that he was annoying, but they also lied to him. Like, he had just bought a brand new house in Atlanta. Like, they're apparently pretty dirty with the people they kill off.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, they don't tell them.
Oh, yeah, you're not supposed to. Yeah, that I get that. Yeah, I kind of get it.
No, but like, they'll tell these people, oh, we're going to re-sign you to a new contract. It's going to be all like the chick that Lori Holden, the blonde, she was told that she was going to be one of the final people to survive on the show. She was going to wind up with Rick. And then like 2 days later, she got the script that she was dead. Right?
Wait, the blonde. Which one was the blonde? That's not the one that ended up with Negan.
No, she's the one that got killed with the governor.
Oh, yeah, I was all about her. Yeah, that was sad. Oh, but yeah, her kid. Yeah, well, her kid died. Her kid got him all killed and got him a shot in the face. He started screaming. Why would you take him anyway? You knew he was soft. Leave him. We'll be back. Because you could tell as soon as they got out there, he's like, oh, just wait for it. It's coming. This dude's gonna freak out. Just give him 2 seconds, and then like Bill Burr said, and those genes will live on. Now those genes don't live on no more. Team Zombie.
I love that. But if one female ant saw that, they'd be like, do not breathe with him ever. His legs shook when the wind moved. Like, Madam Web has begun its casting process. Another one of the Sony Spider-Man movies. And from our friends over in London, we have exclusive news that Kraven the Hunter has started filming. Yes. And Michael Keaton has been seen on set as the Vulture. So they are tying this into the Spider-Man universe for sure. We have Morbius, which is going to be coming out. Also revealed that both Don Cheadle, Samuel L. Jackson, and Ben Mendelsohn will both return for Secret Invasion. Armor Wars is gearing up to film right now with Don Cheadle, but apparently he will be appearing in the Secret Invasion show as well. And we also have word that Captain America 4 is slated to start filming in May.
We're going to unpack those one at a time.
So let's start.
That's a lot of good stuff.
Armor Wars. Now, Danny, this is one of your
1990 Armor Wars was awesome. Tony Stark went on a rampage. So in the movies where they say, oh, my weapons have been found with terrorists, so now I'm going to go handle that. He did that, but with armor. Anyone who wore an armor had a suit. If you had a weapon, let's say you had a helmet that looked any kind of metalish, Tony was coming after you. He had his little packs, and he would just slap them on you and zap it out. So he went ham. So there's this guy Stingray under the ocean. Went into the water, beat this dude for an inch of his life, slapped it on him. He's like, oh, I guess it didn't work on you. Okay, that's not my tech. My bad, dude. It's all right, though. And then flew off. Built a special armor to go to Russia, the stealth suit. All he had is like 3 repulsor blasts. He's saying, I can only shoot this 3 times. He had a special jetpack. He landed, took out dudes. And then he ended up dying at the end. Well, his armor got blew up. He didn't die, but he was
I knew as soon as I said Armor Wars, I was going to launch Danny up.
Armor Wars, so much fun.
So how excited are you to see that brought to the screen with the MCU characters?
I hope in the end what they do is they finish one, like the certain whatever mark they want to do for that one. That mark dies and like gets blown up and he has to come back with like there's a new suit after that. So it'd be different without, like, I don't know. It'd be weird without Tony in it, but they can still do it right and make it fun.
And now Secret Invasion, which is going to be filming, which we know is going to be vastly different from the comic version. So it's going to be interesting to see how they adapt that. I've grown to love Ben Mendelsohn's Skrull from Spider-Man Far From Home. I thought he was absolutely hilarious. He's like, yes, giving the kid the glasses wasn't the greatest idea. That's on me. It just like the what they've brought with the Samuel Jackson character and adding to it. I'm excited to see the Skrulls back. I don't think we're going to get Super Skrull. I don't think that we're going to get a lot of the stuff that we saw in the comics. So where is that kind of on your hype meter, Robert?
I need to see more, just based on what we're talking about with Ms. Marvel, and particularly when we're talking about what we're seeing with Moon Knight. I'm holding reservation. Not that Disney is screwing up, but I think it's just like you're showing me too much and you're telling me too much. So I want to hold until I see a trailer. I want to see some stills. I want to see some stuff with Secret Invasion, because if you're not going to go with the story that it was meant to go with, it's going to be super difficult. Because the whole point was Skrulls are everywhere. They've invaded society. They've invaded everything. They're your heroes. They're everywhere. And so that's kind of what's the disappointing aspect of it.
I kind of feel like it's going to be a little bit reminiscent of what Peacemaker did with the butterflies.
Okay.
So they're pulling Secret Invasion, the comic books, because of the TV show.
Right.
So Marvel has those getting yanked. It looks like it's going to have some of the problem. So like Robert has what we will now call like the WB issue. Because when someone's like, you're showing me a little too much, I'm not sure if that's all of it. They're kind of nervous, a little hesitant.
No, I am. Like we're talking about, it's like, it's not like one of the Kenobi, but like what Chuck and I were talking about before we started recording was that it's like, now it's like some of this, like, don't take away some of the surprise. Like I literally at some point in time, and it's the same thing, they did the same thing with Spider-Man too, when No Way Home. It was like at some point in time, I just had to stop watching trailers because they were starting to show me too much.
I hate you guys with I love to know too much. I hate to know too much. I want to know everything. This is why I'm the guy that has to bring you guys the set reports, because you won't read those emails.
No, because if I know it, then I already can assume. Actually, you can guess lines and what's going to happen before it happens. It takes the fun out of it. Like if I know too much going in, it's like, I know it's going to happen here. This, and this.
I have no problem with some of the set reports because it doesn't ruin the movie for me. What it ruins for me is like you're starting to show me too much. So it's like, I don't know what it is, what in the Marvel production department as they talk about this, because every day I see a new trailer for a new featurette for either for Moon Knight, or I saw like the actresses Irma Avali's reaction to the Miss Marvel trailer.
Yes. What gauntlet was she wearing? Like, you notice how she's wearing a totally different gauntlet than this one?
Yeah. So that's kind of my concern is how much are you showing, how much you need to stop showing it, because you're going to potentially ruin the show for me, or you're going to potentially ruin the movie for me.
Now,
there needs to be some mystery.
To a subject we don't typically talk about here, but I feel like me and my neighbor kind of made a revelation that's going to bring this forward. So for those that don't know, Jodie Whittaker has decided to leave Doctor Who. And for those that don't know even more, many consider her past Doctor Who season to be the worst Doctor Who season, with what they did with the Timeless Child and everything else. So now the rumors are very heavily circulating that David Tennant will return as the 14th Doctor. And the way that this will be explained, for those that were fans of Tennant's Doctor, know he had one of his hands severed in a tube of regeneration energy aboard his TARDIS. And his TARDIS is also the only one that has exploded due to regeneration energy. So the belief is that hand was just doused in regeneration energy and grew into a new Tennant. And that Tennant has been stranded on Earth trying to build a TARDIS with what he has, which is why Ruth, the Black Doctor, has like this organic looking TARDIS. But the thing is, she has Tennant's screwdriver, which we know at some point winds up with River Song. So we think it's actually an alternate version of the Doctor with new regeneration cycles. So you can tell two separate stories. So I want to get your thoughts on that. I know, Robert, you're a fan of Tennant. Danny, what are your thoughts on, number one, them bringing him back, which he's considered in Britain the most beloved Doctor of all time?
He's the,
longest
everybody
one.
loves him. And it's just the showrunner is coming back. He's coming back. Yeah. All this is because of how just obscenely bad what they did is just so horrible. So yeah.
Thank you, because it wasn't bad because she was a woman. It was bad because it was just bad. Just terrible writing.
Bad writing. So what they do is what they'll say, okay, so we're going to give you somebody black. We'll give you a woman. We'll give you somebody gay. We're not going to write any stories. There'll be no character depth, but we'll give you that. So shut up. You should be happy because you got that.
The other reason they believe Ruth is a generation of Tennants is because when Ruth meets the Doctor, they have no memory of each other. But every time another Doctor has met himself, they've instantly known. When Capaldi is refusing to regenerate and meets the first Doctor, they both know instantly that each other is the same person. It's like they're vibing on that same wavelength. So it's like the fact that they don't recognize each other at any point leads us to believe that she's a split off version of the timeline. So she's what David Tennant will regenerate into.
Yeah, they have to sell a free launch and get rid of it. They did a lot of bad, like the unlimited Doctors and all that other like you just took
that's how they
the core.
Well, that's what the Timeless Child did. So you find out that the Doctor is actually an alien, not Gallifreyan, that showed up as a little girl, and a scientist saw she had the power to regenerate. So this scientist, like Doomsday, killed her thousands and thousands of times to make her regenerate so they could figure out how it worked to then give that power to their own people. So she's never actually had a regeneration cycle. She's pure regeneration. So she can go as many times as she wants to.
Yeah, and that just defeats the purpose of Doctor Who. Like that's not the Doctor Who that's been going on for all this time. That's a different character. Create that character unto herself and do that. That's fine. But don't take an existing IP and just warp it to that degree and then expect everybody to love it. Like, oh, you don't like it? It's because she's a woman. No, dude. We're like, because of you. She's fine.
It arguably undoes Matt Smith's best episode on Translore, where he stays there for millions of years as an old man trying to save this place because he's like, this is my last cycle. Like, I don't have anything more. And him getting that new regeneration cycle was a huge deal. Like, it was a massive deal. And it was brilliant writing of how they did it to be able to make it make sense, because everyone was always like, oh, what happens after 12? He made it make sense, made it awesome. Capaldi came in, grew on everybody, wound up being one of the most beloved doctors, and then the storytelling just went to shit with Jodie Whittaker. Like nothing against her as an actor. The companions aren't like captivating in any way whatsoever. There's
no, they don't bounce off each other like they used to. Like that was part of the best things. Like the doctor would always be a smile, but they would always have some kind of back and forth, and that just totally went away.
Like Tennant with the old man Wilfred, like that's one of the best back and forth ever, man. Like I love him and that guy. But like I just never felt that with Jodie Whittaker. And everybody's like, oh, you're just hating because she's a woman. And I'm hating because of bad writing. Doctor Who has been known as one of the best written shows for years with what they do with their doctors. Look at what Capaldi did. Everybody was like, no, man, we loved Tennant and Smith because they were young, and Capaldi's this old man. And by the end, Capaldi's now considered one of the greatest doctors. He brought so much to it. Like, it's absolutely amazing.
That's the way it always was with doctors. You have it like, I don't like him. They said the same thing about David Tennant. I don't like David Tennant. He's the greatest doctor ever. I don't like Matt Smith. He's the greatest doctor ever. I don't like Peter Capaldi. He's the greatest doctor ever. And the thing that's plagued the show over the last years, and I think you guys hit the nail on the head, is bad writing. It's really it's uninspired, and particularly for a science fiction show that has lasted over 50 years. It's
with the best plot device ever written for recasting.
Like,
can we admit regeneration is the greatest idea ever for a TV show to be able to replace a cast member seamlessly?
But by forcing it to have a certain number, that forces you to write better, because you just can't do whatever you want. There's a set constraint, and that constraint led to amazing writing. And when you remove that constraint, the writing just got easy and lazy.
So I'm excited to see Moffat back, man. I mean, he's done incredible things for that show. A lot of my favorite episodes are written by him. So I'm very excited there. But bringing Tennant back, I think is going to bring back the ratings instantly. I mean, you're going to get everybody that was a fan of his. You're going to get new fans just because of the hype. But I mean, that's really the way to fix Doctor Who right now. So I'm really excited about that one. And that doesn't seem to be rumor anymore. It seems to be all but true. The question is whether they split it off into two series with whoever they want the 14th Doctor to be, and then David Tennant as technically the 14th Doctor. But really, he's just another version of the 11th or 10th, sorry. So interesting to do there. I mean, a lot of drama coming out of the BBC with Doctor Who because Jodie Whittaker kind of went off on her way out. And it's
I would just write it as let them both do it at the same time, but like swap episodes. One do one, another one does two.
Idris Elba. They want Idris Elba so bad for Doctor Who.
This
dude, he should be 007. So they
he won't be 007 because the creator of 007 said 007 can't be black.
He said he's too straight, dude. I know code when I hear it. Shut up. Idris Elba's awesome. If he's in, I'm in. He's in the movie.
Using street, that's like a sportcaster when a white athlete does something, it's an intelligent move, and when a black athlete does it, it's an athletic move.
Look at he doesn't even know what he's doing. He's just so athletic.
Well, they say like tennis players, he's a real firecracker out there. He's a real firecracker on the field. Like all the white guy code words. Let's see here. So we got Dune Part 2 has finished wrapping filming, and as if anybody cared, Dune Part 1 didn't exactly wow audiences. Robert, were you a fan of Dune? I know, and we're not talking old school Dune. We're talking the new one.
No.
Yeah, same here. I felt like that was Robert's most 200 episodes, and we finally.
We need that. Anytime something's really bad, I just want to make that a meme. Just no, and then slowly look away.
He didn't even look at the camera. He just looked down like he was confessing to a murder. Yeah. Next topic.
No, it's not a good. Like the idea here is this. It's hard. Like it's nothing was as iconic as bad as it, or as bad as it was. Nothing was more iconic than the 1980s one. Mm-hmm. And then there was the TV series, the limited TV series of Dune, which was really good, and they tried to encapsulate. It's a book that has proven itself. I cannot be made into a major motion picture. I can't. It can't. And so, like, you can put Zendaya in it, you can put Timothée Chalamet in it, you can put Jason Momoa in it. You can do that. You can have the cast that they have. It's just too much. It's too much. It's like this is the screenplay for this is not made it's not made for the movie theaters. Unless
this is definitely a long form series would have done.
Yeah, Netflix and Amazon should get it. It would be great.
Yeah, you could tell better. Like if you look at the sci-fi series that came out 10 years ago, 15 years ago. That was well told, and that was, again, it was a limited series told over told over time. You can't do that now. You can't tell a movie can't be 4 hours. It can't be. It's hard to unless you have an intermission or something like that. You have to have.
A lot of people won't go to a movie with an intermission.
Well, because we don't do that anymore.
They don't do that anymore.
This is the opera.
I can tell you this. One of the things, I joked about it with Batman a couple of weeks ago, is if I really needed to go to the bathroom, I was screwed. So it's like 3 hour movie. 3 hour movie is pushing it, but but you're talking about like 3 or 4 hours of particularly like story plot, story, intricacies, things that you don't think that matter. And even with Lord of the Rings, it was really hard. People got upset, butthurt, because it didn't follow the books completely. You cannot have that much detail.
For what the Lord of the Rings actually did put in from the books, I think it far redeems itself from what left out.
And what they're trying to do with Dune is they're trying to put everything that everybody liked about the movie. No, you can't do that. You can't.
Speaking of Lord of the Rings, I just want to say we can confirm through 2 of our sources 3 major characters we have speculated will in fact appear in season 1. Those 3 characters are the 2 blue wizards, Ifrandil and Isanor, and Tom Bombadil. Tom Bombadil will be making his Lord of the Rings debut in the Rings of Power. So I'm very, very excited about that one.
They have to explain that genocide. Lord of the Rings, explain the genocide, because something happened between this show and those movies. Y'all need to come to terms with it. Let me know.
So Elden Ring has revealed, I don't know if you guys know, Sauron was originally an elf. Did you guys know that?
No.
Yeah, Sauron was originally an elf along the same class as Elrond and was
those elves are such dicks. That's proof. That's all the proof I needed to know. Let's just wipe off the elves.
So he, in the way Voldemort turned himself into what he was, he turned himself into the first Nazgul. And that's why he is like the Sauron that you know now. But he was actually an elf, like friends with Elrond.
I like the fact that he's an elf. That's good. Sound like the elves.
And it explains the tie to magic as well. So
I'm excited to see Sauron's just his path. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, to see like how he actually creates the Rings of Power and everything is going to be incredible.
And then just watch him at the end just go ham on absolutely everything and everyone.
Because people are mistaken. There's not 9 Rings of Power. There's 15. People always talk about 9 rings for mortal men, this and that. There's 15 rings. Like they've just been destroyed over time. But so the Amazon series obviously is going to debut in September. We got our first trailer. Where is that on your hype meter for what's coming up this year? I mean, for me and Danny, I think it's very high up there. Knowing that they, had to commit to 5 seasons, knowing it's the most expensive TV show ever made, $465 million for the first season. Like they're putting the work into this. Keep in mind, Lord of the Rings was made on almost like a string budget for what they had to actually make for a cinematography production. So, I mean, what they're doing with this Amazon series, they're just take all the money.
Yeah, well, if you're Amazon, you played for a big IP, you better put in the money. And it's not like Jeff Bezos is hurting for. It's not like Jeff Bezos and company are hurting for cash in any way, shape, or form.
Do you see that they kicked Pete Davidson off their next rocket to space?
Why was he there in the first place?
That's what I want to know. Why does Pete Davidson have go to space money?
He doesn't have go to space money.
He's not funny. There's no use for. I don't know. Maybe some people think he's funny. I just like my comedians to be funny.
The funniest thing Pete Davidson has ever done was be made fun of by Dave Chappelle when Dave Chappelle hosted with look at Pete Davidson's lips, America. Seriously, look at his lips. That's it. Pete Davidson's never been funny. I didn't like King of Staten Island, nothing. But it was a big deal that he got booted off the next Blue Origin space mission. They took Captain Kirk last time. I think that's their big thing now. It's they want to just take random celebrities.
Captain Kirk makes sense. I mean, it's Captain Kirk.
Yeah, but he's also like 80. Heart disease makes sense. Like,
Yeah, he's awesome. Captain, you know, you like Star Wars. You don't know nothing.
I
Captain
don't
Kirk
like
is
Star
awesome.
Wars. Correction. I will not have that misnomer spread amongst our fans. I do not like Star Wars. I like lightsaber porn. All right. There's a difference. All right. There's a big difference.
One night, me and Chuck got drunk, audience, and he was like, you know what, Dan, I want to tell you. I really do like Star Wars.
Damn it, exposed. He's got the 6-minute video. He's like, I recorded the whole thing right here. I recorded
the whole conversation. You had eating a cheeseburger on the floor.
David Hasselhoff style. I'll tell you, Jar Jar Binks is underrated, man. Nobody gives the guy the respect he deserves. And midichlorians, I'm all about it, man. Bring some science to it. The drunken trials of Chuck. Robert's just sitting there again, like, no. I won't laugh at this. Reservation Dogs has been renewed for a season 2 at FX, thanks to director Taika Waititi. But I do want to talk about a new show he has on HBO Max. Robert, have you watched Our Flag is Death at all?
Not yet, no.
Oh my God. Taika Waititi plays Blackbeard. Rhys Darby plays the Gentleman Pirate. It is so well written. If you're a fan of What We Do in the Shadows, Flight of the Conchords, Taika Waititi's comedy at all, you're going to absolutely love this show. He is incredibly funny as Blackbeard. Like, it is incredible. All 8 episodes are available now on HBO Max. Definitely is one to check out. One we will be reviewing for next week as well will be DMZ, aka the Demilitarized Zone, with Rosario Dawson, which is basically set in a modern-day American Civil War, and Manhattan is the demilitarized zone, and Rosario Dawson is trying to get there to meet up with her husband, who she's lost somehow. In more casting news, The Vampire Diaries, Paul Wesley has been cast as Captain Kirk, which is now the 3rd Kirk that we've gotten, because we got Anson Mount in Star Trek Discovery. We have Captain Picard, who's now doing the Picard season 2. And then now we have Star Trek Strange New Worlds with their own Kirk. And now we have Star Trek 4, which is finally being made in the movies with Chris Pine as Captain Kirk. So what are your thoughts on 4 Kirks? That's going to be Danny's meme. You're going to be like Matt Damon from fucking Team America. Basically, I like Chris Pine.
Matt Damon.
Do you know that to this day, he gets asked to sign more pictures of that puppet than pictures of himself?
That's hilarious.
Like, people everywhere, Comic-Con, wherever he goes, people bring pictures of the fucking Matt Damon puppet.
That is fantastic.
Love that. So Star Trek, obviously doing some great stuff there. We can confirm that going into production in early October will be Spider-Man Null in Black. Spider-Man Null in Black will be a combination Spider-Man movie between Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, and Tom Holland. Whether it's going to be Null in Black or King in Black is yet to be fully confirmed, but it will be known as Spider-Man. So the thoughts on that finally being confirmed, as we knew that there was going to be something happening with Andrew, and we knew Tom was still signing on. What are your thoughts on them making it official that these 3 are going to be coming back?
I've been for it. I mean, like, hey, it's like you ride the wave. If you're Tobey Maguire right now, it's like, wait a second, ride the wave if you're Andrew Garfield, who, he's up on a FX show. Yeah, ride this wave while you have the opportunity and chance to.
I agree. Same thing with Andrew Garfield. Andrew Garfield just seems to be having a blast with the idea of being back in the character.
But I hope this is a 2-part movie.
I think it could 2 parts. If they can split Spider-Verse 2 into 2 parts, they can do it with this. But what are your thoughts on the title itself being Spider-Man instead of having to be like its own, The Amazing Spider-Man?
They should just do the Web Warriors.
The Web Warriors.
Yeah. Yeah, let's bring Gwen in there. Let's just do it. Let's do it.
And Miles. Let's just bring everybody. Let's bring Spider-Pig. Let's do all of it, man.
Hey, I like Spider-Ham. Spider-Ham, Peter Porker, the spectacular Spider-Ham.
John Mulaney, man, one of the best SNL writers ever. Did you see him host SNL recently? They did a bit called Monkey Judge.
I miss. I like
Monkey Judge. I loved it, man. It's like it was a monkey that was a judge, and it was fucking hilarious. Like random points away. Yeah, I'm gonna let you testify, but first I'm gonna throw some sand to show dominance. Like, and then the prosecutor was like, "May I approach the bench in a slow, deliberate manner, holding a birthday cake?" He's like, "The court recognizes the shape he most associates with treats." And the case is a woman got her arms ripped off by a monkey, and like the monkey Gummo ripped her arms off. He's like, "No Gummo." They're like, "What?" He goes, "Tango, no Gummo." Like, just a little bits like that. And then Bowen Yang has been doing these little bits where he's a disgruntled minor character from a movie. Like he did the iceberg from Titanic. He recently was a proudly gay Oompa Loompa. And like when he gets introduced as a proudly gay Oompa Loompa, he's like, "Wow, Colin, you just outed me on national TV. I was here to read a statement, and now I guess I gotta call my parents." Like, they're not going to be okay with it. He's like, "They live in Loompa Land, all right? It's not progressive. They just got Will and Grace." Like, so SNL is definitely stepping back up, man. It's great to see that show kind of returning New York to a sense of normalcy. In quick box office news, The Batman is closing in on 600 million, even though it did terrible in China. China was just not about this movie at all, apparently. They did not care. It opened up to like $25 million in China, which, to put into perspective for you, the Fast and the Furious movies, which Robert loves, opens to like 150 million when they open over there.
Robert loves family and Corona.
So I was watching HBO Max, and it finished watching a series and immediately decided, "Oh, we're gonna put Fast 9 on." And I immediately I was looking around for people. I'm like, "I didn't choose this. This just happened." I felt like I got caught with porn. I'm like,
"How can you watch Fast 9 without watching the first 8? How can you possibly miss out on all those plot points? You got to start from the beginning."
I know I've just lost out on one of the greatest American cinematic tales ever told. I mean,
Vin Diesel. I mean, I still think Groot was his best role, but you know, so some may like him.
Can we talk about that? Can we talk about that though? You and I saw that movie together, and as soon as the credits rolled, we both looked at each other and said, dead seriously, that was Vin Diesel's best acting role. And we're like, because I remember people around us laughing, like we were dead serious, and like that's the best acting that dude's ever done. Like we've had some great moments. Robert, you don't know this. We were at Star Trek Into Darkness, the one with Khan, and the scene where Captain Kirk like sacrifices himself and they do the reverse Spock from Wrath of Khan. There was a woman in the crowd openly weeping, and when I say weeping, I mean like a black mother at a funeral. Like,
oh, it was loud. It was embarrassing.
I said, "Lady, he's gonna be okay. There's 40 minutes left in the movie." Like, I have never heard somebody cry like that. For Ghostbusters didn't get that kind of tears. All right, like it was absolutely insane. And then, of course, I had my beautiful creatures moment, which then got to come to fruition this year at C2E2 when we met the creator and got to tell her that story, which was friggin' awesome. So that's what I want to talk about next, guys. It's 200 episodes of doing this show, man. I know, Danny, you've only been with us for a little bit of it, but Robert, what's it kind of been like for you the past 6 years doing this show? I mean, here's a real stat for you. 90% of podcasts never make it to episode 20. So, I mean, to be here at episode 200 is very monumental, and Robert's been here every step of the way. So I kind of want to get your thoughts on what episode 200 means to you.
Oh, it means 200, man. That's a nice round number. I mean, like all the stuff that we've talked about, the stuff that we've been right on, the guests that we've had on, the people that we've had on the show and talked to is all part of, it's all part of what makes the show great. Man, what can I say? It's been a long road. It's been a long, long road. And to say that we're here and the fan support that we've had for, since the beginning, it's amazing.
I think when we made the transition from just reporting news from other sites to being able to break news ourselves, I felt like was a huge progression for our show. And it took a while for people to believe us because we were reporting things that they were like, how the hell could you guys know that? And comicbook.com or superherohype.com isn't reporting that stuff. And it was just getting to know people from traveling cons and from sending emails and talking to guests and managers and stuff. You just build this list of people. And over time, it's turned into now we get to break news months ahead of big sites sometimes, like we just did with Spider-Man 5 minutes ago. I mean, you're going to hear that circulating in about a week. On the
spoiler.
Oh my God. Oh, we forgot about the spoiler. We just ruined a movie that's not even gone into production for you yet, people. We have horrible. The scripts. But I mean, to see that transition has been huge. And then just the response from fans at Comic-Cons and things like that is great. Like when Danny and I were at C2E2, we gave cards to these people. And then the next day they found us and they were like, oh my God, we were looking for you guys. We lost our cards last night. We wanted to make sure that we could and like the excitement people got over seeing us was really cool. Like when we were interviewing people and we came back the next day to actually interview them and they were like, oh my God, you guys actually came back. And they were so humbled and really, and that feeling is indescribable. Am I right, Danny? Like it's so fulfilling and rewarding because you're bringing these smaller artists into the limelight. You're connecting with fans like never before, like how we had all the lightsaber duels and everything. It's just this community means so much to me, and what we've been able to do to grow this show from me sitting in a chair with a T-Rex skull to us now having like this huge show with people is just amazing to me. So I want to thank you guys for being here for 200 episodes, man. I mean, this is huge. Danny, 50 episodes for you. So you're like the baby Grogu.
That's right. Well, baby Grogu is adorable.
Hey,
my question is, so the transition from where you guys started to where you are now, and your thoughts on Robert's transition from where he began to where he is now.
Okay,
you speak more
Robert,
on that.
I feel comfortable.
It's time to shout out Robert with attention, so everybody.
So for those that don't know, Robert, when we first started this show, Robert, I think it's okay to say this. You were afraid to do video. There was some public anxiety involved, I believe. But for our first like 6 episodes, we were audio only. And then we went to video and we had a traitorous co-host, he who shall not be named. We had our traitorous co-host stay with us for about 30 episodes, and then he left. And I really thought the show was going to be lost at that time but when we had the traitorous co-host, Robert was kind of the quiet guy that would kind of butt in and end debates and stuff. And then when Anthony left, I got to see how much of a wealth of knowledge Robert is. I mean, he is a comic book and film encyclopedia, and it brought such a new dynamic to the show of us both being able to bounce off of each other with these references and just him teaching me new things and me teaching him new things. And then we brought you in, and it was the perfect counterweight to both of us, because we both try to approach things with logic and you are emotion personified when it comes to Romulan. Like I love it.
You know, I actually fate everything else in life. I go logic first, except for this stuff, because it's just everybody needs an outlet.
But to have had Robert by my side now for 6 years and 200 episodes of this show, man, I can't thank him enough. I know we've gotten to interview some cool people, but there is nothing better to me than just sitting here shooting the shit with you guys every week. And the fact that people want to watch us do it is just amazing. So, of course, we want to thank you, the fans. Like, we wouldn't be here if there wasn't people watching the show. So we love all of you guys. We love even you spoiler alert people that we tell you something is going to happen and you still bitch at us anyway. At least you take the time to acknowledge we exist, even if it's in a hateful way. So I appreciate even those people. But it's just crazy to me. 200 episodes is such a milestone. So to finally be here, it's very a proud moment for me. I feel like a proud dad, because this show started at being called Critics Corner, trivia fact for you guys. And I was just me in a chair reviewing movie trailers and movies. And then I talked to Robert. I was like, I got this idea for a podcast. This is what we can call it. Like it's just blossomed from there, but it's just hard to believe, man. 200 is a big number. We've definitely, if the aliens come and all that's left of society is our 200 YouTube videos, I would be very proud. They'd be like, apparently what we know about Earth is everyone had Coke on a table. Black guys named Danny disagreed with anything to do with DC Comics. And this guy named Chuck died on the Man of Steel Hill. That's all we know.
Apparently, we missed out on a good time. Should have got here sooner.
Like, it's just me, like, on the Superman grave holding up the black flag, like petrified like a Pompeii resident, like just petrified in ash. Like, I died supporting my hero, Superman.
And according to that show we watched last week, we can thank that alter Image. Thank Image for the death of Superman.
Yes.
They freaked DC the hell out.
So Danny, I mean, you've only been here 50 episodes. What's it been like doing the show so far with you? And like, obviously, you got to go to C2E2 as well, and New York Comic Con. So, what's it like to immerse yourself more in that world?
Yeah, it's fun. It's like all the stuff I yell and scream at the TV and the privacy of my own home. Now I can yell and scream on video for the viewers to watch and enjoy.
I mean, there's nothing like verbally abusing a white man every week for his likes. I mean, you're really getting your reparations out of beating me down.
This is my version of reparations. So reparations do exist, people.
I don't look at it as it's I don't look at it as beating you down, Chuck, like that. It's just like you're so passionate about the hit, like your hills to die on, whether or not we agree with the hills.
I'm like MAGA country. I'm like,
it's like Chuck, you've already picked this hill to die on. You probably like there are other things that you could die on that are.
Yeah, it's like how many hills you need, dude? How many hills?
Really? It's like, no, man, I can hold all of them. I can hold the line.
You can hold all of them. It's like, but it shows the passion that you have about what you feel, and it's like, and again. It's the issue here is that, you know, it's not about the comics aspect for me with some of these stuff. It's about Warner Brothers. So Warner Brothers is the problem for me, not necessarily, although with the Batman, you know, even a blind squirrel can find a nut. So
I guess we're gonna have to scrap the announcement that our next sponsor was Warner Brothers. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, with me, it's the editors.
If they had ever watched an episode of this show, they know how I feel. So,
Robert's Coke on a table. We're literally making T-shirts on how Robert feels about the Warner Brothers executive room. So,
all right, guys, who is this Robert character? And why does he hate us so much?
Because it's like it's because you just make bad decisions on bad, like you just make consistently bad decisions. Like, without going into too much detail, my issue is this: let the comic book people do the comic book things. You have like, you know, and yes, and again, Blind Squirrel finds a nut with the Batman movie that's out right now. Although, but you're not going to have those hits always, and you still have a large part of your universe which is disconnected, and that may be fine, and be okay with that. But stick to a plan and go with it. Don't just be like where the wind blows. It's like, well, the wind blows this way. Okay, guys, we got to go this way now. You know, if you're going to do all these movies, stick to the plan. You know, we talked about with them being pushed back. We're talking, the Flash movie has been pushed back to 2022.
So 2023. It is 2022, Robert. Where are you from? It's live. Guys, we have Robert from an alternate timeline here right now.
Yeah,
don't tell them the bad news.
Yeah, 2023. It's been pushed back to 2023. And we all, you know, so you have a lot of your slate that you had just literally came out there where The Rock literally had to push your stuff, which you never ever do, to come out there to promote what you're doing. And no, like he does.
Yeah, like, it's so bad.
Like he came out, like he was like, hey man, just come out with a sizzle reel. Just come out with something. Let them know you're doing something.
The Rock has been talking about Black Adam for 10 years now. Like,
I like how it's like they saw what Marvel did. Like, okay, Marvel did phase 1, 2, 3. So okay, so now 2 decades later, let's try that. And of course, DC, who is so bad when it comes to holding any kind of story together, it's an epic fail. They 0 Hour. That's all I gotta say. Why did you have to make 0 Hour? Because it's 4 Batman titles encompassing 20 years, comes out all at the same time, and nothing makes any sense.
Go
and
away.
They keep doing it.
DC.
No, and again, right. Not DC. For me, it's Warner Brothers. And you can see that. You can see that on their television shows. It's like, you know, okay.
Now it's Warner Discovery Media.
Oh yeah. Well, that's why you guys got kicked out of your offices, little small dinky ones. Aha. Them editors, they're doing the editors should just.
I have one question before we get out of here, though, guys, and it is a very simple question to answer. And give me 1 second to cue up the sound here. Do you really want to taste it? Man, I have not been able to get that Peacemaker intro out of my head for weeks. I'm literally sitting there on my stairs, like learning the dance moves to it. Like, I have no life. This is what I do. So look forward to next week when we will be reviewing the Pam and Tommy series, The Boys Diabolical, The Guardians of Justice, Human Resources. We are back heavily in the review swing of things as tons of great new stuff has dropped. Also, check out DMZ, the Demilitarized Zone, on HBO. We want to thank all of you that have been here with us from the beginning. We want to thank those of you that are just joining us as fans now. 200 is not a number that means nothing to us. The fact that we have been here this long doing this, Robert, I couldn't imagine anyone else by my side. Thank you, my friend, for being here. Danny, you're my best friend on earth. You brought such a dynamic to this show that makes it so much better. And I think people love seeing your side of things and the way that you can hate on me in new and exciting ways every week. So
yeah, it's DC. That's what it is.
You are the Joe Exotic to my Carol Baskin. Like, except I know I don't have to worry about you paying $3,000 to take a hit out on me. So that's going to wrap things up for episode 200, guys. It has been a pleasure here doing this with you. Any final words on our way out for episode 200?
No, man.
All right, guys. Remember, no matter what you do in life, you can watch podcasts, you can commit crimes, you can do graffiti. If Vigilante or Peacemaker don't get you, Oprah will. So always remember, stay away from Oprah. And my snap didn't work because Oprah knew and used her Oprah magic. So that's going to do it, guys. Have yourselves a week for episode 200. I've been Chuck Kiwatts.
I'm Robert Dukes.
I'm D.
Have yourselves a week. All right, and we're out.